Ah yes, autumn, the season where Japan likes to say that everything happens because frankly people don't really want to go out and do shit in any of the other seasons. You want to do sports in spring? Hell nah. The pollen in the air is probably gonna kill you. Summer? Do I even need to say? Winter? You're gonna freeze to death. So clearly everything in the world, you gotta do it in autumn, which is why autumn in Japan is called the autumn of food, the autumn of sports, the autumn of arts and everything along the way. And this time around, we're gonna be talking not about food like last year, but just art in general because anime! Yes, I know I did miss out the video for summer. That really couldn't be helped since I really didn't manage to go to all too much stuff in summer because of the fact that I was so busy with work that I was barely able to go out for some of the months. So there really wasn't much for me to talk about that wasn't already in some video here or there. However, as a result this time around, there is a bunch of things that we can talk about because autumn managed to be a lot more free for me, thankfully. Starting off, we were talking about something game industry related, a bit maybe off tangent for some people, but it was the first thing that I went to in the timeline of things I went to in autumn, which was the Game Maker Scramble. So this is not a game event in the same way that something like TGS is, for example. This is more like the GDC in Japan, except that, well, it's something like GDC in the sense that it's a lot of different like talks by people within the industry coming to explain and talk about their experience and what they think works and what doesn't. It's an event more targeted for indie developers to be able to learn and improve their skills within the industry, but at the same time, it was being organized by the big companies, which to me the whole thing feels very weird. As you can see from the back itself, like Cygames is the biggest sponsor for the event as well. So clearly the event is very driven by the big companies, and it is not to shit on big companies or something, but at the very least when it comes to game development, I feel like there's a bit of a difference in how they need to operate and how an indie would operate because of the difference in scale, the difference in the way it can hire people and all of that. But all that aside, the event itself was actually a fairly small scale event, although from what I understand it has been growing in size with each consecutive holding of the event. So at this point it actually is around like 300 to 400 people attending the event. A small number perhaps, but for an event specifically targeting small creators within Japan, it actually wasn't all too bad of an event overall. It was actually free entry as well. I don't know if anybody would actually be interested in going to an event like this in Japan if like they ever happen to be in the area, since like it's really just mostly people talking about game development experience instead. But if you're interested in that, that's something you could look forward to as well, I suppose. It's mostly just two halls and which were used mainly for the talks themselves, as well as a main hall where people were mostly showcasing either tools that you could be using or like reference books, as well as a small number of games that are being shown at the venue as well. Aside from that, I also did head down to Comitia again this time as well. Unfortunately, I didn't really take much in terms of videos of the venue because it mostly just happened within the south and west halls of Big Side this time around, so fairly similar to most of the other times. I didn't want to take pictures too much because I was actually in a little bit of a rush and I was like helping to look around for stuff while also browsing for my own stuff. So instead, in terms of like talking about the event, it'll be fairly abridged. We're just talking about like how this time around, unlike the previous holdings, it was actually in the southwest, took up like 6 halls I think in total, so it was actually fairly big all things considered. Like compared to the days where it was just 3 east halls, now it's actually taking up 6, plus I think 2 were used for logistics. So overall, a large amount of space being used to hold the event itself. One thing that they did that I actually thought was kind of cool was the fact that they actually had a change in the way that they did the ticketing. Like usually what they would do is that they'll give you the entire catalog and the catalog would also serve as your ticket. Some events have gone towards actually using just a wristband instead. For Comitia, instead of using both of those, they actually had this time around also a like if you wanted to not use the catalog, they actually had a mini catalog instead. So you actually got this piece of very small pamphlet which would serve as the ticket, which I think is pretty convenient unless you're worried about dropping it or something. Mostly because of the fact that it has both the explanations as well as the maps here. So if you were someone who really wanted to like actually have the map while also not having to deal with lugging around the entire catalog to check through stuff every single time you wanted to find a circle, or if you didn't want to deal with like having to take out the entire booklet to like show it to the staff at the front entrance every time you needed to go in and out, this served as a much better lightweight alternative, and the size basically meant that it was much easier to pull out to just check information as well along the way. So I actually kind of like that they actually changed up to having this instead. One thing they did that was kind of interesting, mostly probably due to the fact that they actually divided the halls into the first and upper floor this time around, was the fact that they actually had the display corners in both of these locations at once. So if you were to go to the lower floor, you didn't have to really worry about then having to go back up to the upper floor over here to browse the stuff before going back down to look for the stuff that you wanted to find in this hall. Both had their own individual ones. These two were basically like the south and west hall were basically on the same floor. So I'm guessing both of these they merged into one area as a result of that. I feel like it was actually pretty clever of them to do that, since it actually reduces the amount of walk time, since the difference is actually a whole 4 floors between this one as well as the other hall. So by doing this, it feels like they made it a lot more convenient as well. But yeah, as to the stuff I bought this time around, usually I don't really buy art books in general, since I feel like with art books, while it's nice to look at and like browse through them every once in a while, this, you know, like as storage has become a bit of an issue, and until like I move to a bigger place, it's gonna be a little difficult, I feel like. But there was some that really tempted me this time around. One that I unfortunately didn't manage to purchase for myself, but I did manage to get for someone else, is that for Abe Yoshitoshi, the person who did the original character design for Serial Experiments Lane as well as Textualize, which is the one that this book is for. Yeah, apparently he had a circle down at the event itself where he was basically selling some stuff for both Serial Experiments Lane as well as for Textualize as well. So this was basically, like as the name implies, there's a lot of the original character art designs as well as the thought process as well as comments going into each of them individually. So I thought that was really cool. It's a shame that like because of how popular the circle was, I didn't manage to get multiple copies of this. So thankfully did manage to get the copy for the person who wanted it, but I didn't manage to get my own. So thank you for pointing me towards the circle in the first place. I got your book to the person who wanted it, and yeah, it's actually a really interesting book. I wanted to like showcase this as well before I actually send it out. Aside from that, I did have the book in the back. It was in the background as well, which is this one, Garuman. It's in part an illustration book and also in part a commentary, or like him going through all of the work that he did in the past for some of the older series. For those who don't know, this book was basically from Akimoto Koji, who basically did a lot of the mecha designs for series such as Voltom in the past, and basically this is one of the many art books he has released at Comitia over the years. So a lot of it is a combination of, for example, the original like art from some of the animes he worked on, as well as some of the original designs that he has also done for all of the mechas he has drawn over the years. I think he also, for you zoomers out there, he also worked on the gun designs in the Sword Art Online, Gun Gale Online, mouthful to say, but yeah, so he actually worked on quite a fair bit of stuff as well over the years, aside from just mecha. But yeah, for me, the style of mecha design is something that I really like, since it's a little more, I guess, like near future sci-fi-ish in a way. Like it doesn't have the like whimsy of like Gundam, for example, nor the space mumbo jumbo magic of Mazinger either, but it has that like very Metal Sluggish feel where it's so full of like metal and like physical parts in a way that actually makes it feel in a way kind of closer to maybe something like Mech Warrior for the West maybe. But as a result, I kind of do like the aesthetic for that reason as well. Then I also did find an artist who was making this very Dempa looking book as well. Like it's a very Dempa emo in its own way, in the sense that like a lot of the art does like fall into that direction, and it's a bit of a mix of like art that is actually done to look really good, as well as art that is in a way done to feel like it's like the scribbles of a very Dempa-esque character as well. I do like the mix of it, and even though I'm not someone who would usually, well, we can't show that on YouTube, but yes, it's a very big mixture of, I don't know, like the style of it is very, how best do I describe it? It has a very like pastel style to it, but while having a very monochrome color scheme, which fits very well with the type of, okay, yeah, I'm kind of getting scared of like accidentally showing another page that I can't show off that book. But yeah, you get the point. It's very Dempa-ish, very like downer style of art, and I do enjoy it. And I honestly, I was initially looking to see if they had like some other items and stuff as well that I could also buy aside from the book, but all they had at the time was really just the book and some acrylic keychains, which the acrylic keychains, I really have like so many of them that it didn't really like feel as interesting to get. So I just got the illustration book instead to support them. That said, I feel like we have spent way too much time on just the circles I went to during Comitia. So we'll be moving on to the next event, which was another Doujin event that I went to that I've kind of been to in the past as well. It's the one with all of the Bomber Girl stuff, the one that Pretty Bomb, the Bomber Girl event, usually ties in with, that doesn't really have a name because it's one of those like events where multiple different series gather together. But with this one, it's actually a lot more varied in the type of work. So the event itself, I think because it goes through a company that helps to organize all of it. They didn't really give it a name, but it had a lot of series that I usually don't really get to see around when I go to things like Ponycat and I like. So to me, it was a bit of a refreshing one to go to, because even for something like Bomber Go, they don't really turn up at every single event, and so this is one of the few events where I did manage to see it, so that was really cool. I can't show most of the Bomber Go stuff. I've already sent it out at this point to the person who really wanted it, and even if I were to try to show it, YouTube would probably hit me with a hammer. But I did find some interesting stuff nonetheless though. For one thing, I actually did manage to find some, like, I guess wholesome-ish doujins for stuff like Shugo Kara, for example. Like, this is just like your standard, like, I guess like couple romancy thing as well. Like, it isn't the kind of thing I usually would look out for in terms of doujins. This one's actually like all ages as well, so it's an all ages family-friendly romance thing, which is kind of nice in its own way. It's just that I feel like it's mostly just because like seeing stuff for Shugo Kara in 2025 made me feel so old, and the nostalgia made me go like, you know what, I think I really want some like Shugo Kara stuff. It reminds me of my earlier years, and god damn it. Aside from that, I also did find like this Pretty Cure Gundam Gunpla like compilation book this person made. So like they basically go and try to make, like, that's the name card as well, but they actually have like a whole book going through the compilation of all of the different like Pretty Cure-ish Gunpla that they have made over the years, and like it's just a photo shoot of all of the different ones. It felt like such a bizarre combination of hobbies in a way that ended up making something that, to me at least, seemed really interesting. What with the whole like mecha magical girl thing being something that people usually use to talk about series like Nanoha or Symphogear more so than something like Pretty Cure. So like seeing not only like Pretty Cure mecha, but like Pretty Cure mecha, not like girls who fight like mechas, was certainly a very bizarre sight. Yes, and I thought it was really cool, and so I decided to buy the book. When I bought the book, he also gave me a Gundam like seal wafer, like the Bandai Namco ones as well. Like, it was really cool and nice of the person to give this to me. I still have not eaten this, and the event took place like months ago. I don't know if it's still safe to eat, but let's not let his goodwill go to waste. And hey, anything for the video, right? Oh. I don't know if you guys have ever eaten a Bandai Namco wafer before, but they're usually really sweet. I can smell the sugar from this distance. Like, that's how strong they usually are. I mean, for those of you who have bought like the Fate or Nikkei or whatever, like you probably have like sniffed it before, and it's like, it's really, really sweet. Oh. This is how you can tell I'm old, because like the smell of like sugar is starting to fuck with me when there's like an excess amount. I feel like if I was like 10 years younger, I'll just be like, tasty, or something like that. But yeah, it's not spoiled, thankfully. It tastes slightly less sweet than the average Bandai Namco wafer, which makes me wonder if this is just me getting desensitized to it after eating an entire box of these four Gakumas and Blue Archive, or if this is just like this one being less bad overall. Apparently it comes with a sticker as well. Really playing up the Bikuriman vibes with this, except that unlike that Chocopuni thing that the Blue Archive had, this actually feels a lot like, as a snack itself, it's not very impressive. So thank you for the seal. Thank you for the goodwill. I'll probably finish this later. Like, no, this wasn't just an excuse for me to eat a snack on video. But yeah, like going along with the trend of Pretty Cure being mixed in with something else, there's also this. Yeah, it's a Tokusatsu Super Sentai Precure collab doujin. Like, it felt like such a bizarre thing as well. Like, all of these circles just doing these kind of, I guess, crossovers of their own. But hey, they're all actually pretty well done. Like, this one is a little different in the sense that like, it's a mix of like art illustrations as well as light novel-ish segments, as well as like the actual like manga-ish segments as well. So it's a very balanced mixture of everything that I guess fans who really want a mixture of both would really enjoy. Like, it feels really bizarre to me, the combination of the two. But then again, it's precisely because of stuff like this that I do enjoy going to these events, because you end up seeing a whole bunch of things and weird collab crossovers that you never thought you would actually want to see until it actually happens. And then you kind of start to wish that like the official like companies themselves actually started doing it as well. Aside from that, and this is something I did talk about a little bit in one of the shorts before, I actually went down to the Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha like Lyrical watch party. This one, and yeah! Now I too can be a magical girl with my magical stick here. But yeah, part of the reason why I want to talk about it in this video as well is because of the fact that with a short, the thing is that YouTube does put a restriction of like, it can only be 3 minutes long, so I have to make multiple shorts, or like, you know, I can't just like elaborate and just like yap on about the things I really like, which I don't know if that's interesting to anyone at all. But for me, as someone who was a fan of this series, this event was really nice, purely just because of the fact that during the event, because of the fact that it's a scheduled event where multiple things happen. So basically at the start, you had your starting where everybody got settled in, ordered their food, as well as purchased the goods, and then it moved on into the screening of like the little like scenes that they had recorded, as well as like some of it being like build up lore scenes for the manga as well as the anime that have already come out at this point for Gun-Based Vengeance. I think the manga is out, the anime is not, but either way, the scenes were meant to build up like some of the things that preluded the manga as well, like how the organization got set up and all of that. So a lot of that to me was really cool, and in the process of doing all of that, they kind of also tried to show like how this would link with the current movies, because with the first two movies it felt like a little bit of a retcon, even with like Gears of Destiny, like where the fuck was that, like a lot of the chronology with all the older things were a lot all over the place. So it does feel like they actually tried to tie all of this in neatly with the current content and the current movie as well. And they also address some of the things about, especially with like Nanoha's character, because like as someone who has grown up with the series, like seeing all of these characters grow over the years has been like really cool as well. You know, just seeing them like grow up and how they are like thinking and their life perspective changes is also something really interesting to me. And the original issue or like thing that felt a little off for me was like from the original Ace to Strikers, there's this like huge like time leap, and then like they kind of tease things that happen in the middle but never really go through it in depth, and now they go through it a little more in depth with, or I guess they're trying to build up the midpoint with the new anime and manga. And they also go through some of the things that happen to Nanoha, and like especially during the scenes in this collab cafe, they actually talked about it a little bit and like elaborated on it. So some of the things that, I don't know, to me they felt like speculations, because it was things that I watched the show and I felt about the character, and seeing a lot of it get validated as like things that actually apparently were on the minds of the writers when they wrote a lot of that. It was actually pretty cool, and like seeing her grow through all of that, it made me feel like a very happy old man in the end. But yeah, aside from this though, the other thing that I felt a little bit was just the fact that they gave us the light stick. Like they gave us the light stick with the rotatable lights, and like there was actually like a live performance segment, but that was only like 10-15 minutes where they basically just went through like a bunch of like songs that had been voted to actually be screened in the cafe. It wasn't even like performed live or anything, and like for maybe like 5 songs, only 1 or 2 of the songs were actually played in full, and the rest were just like 30-second cuts. So I don't know what they wanted us to do with this, to be honest. They even had a little sign going up saying like, make sure if you want to use the light to not cause trouble for anyone. And it's like, the fuck do you want me to do with this? How am I supposed to do this when I don't even know what songs are going to be screened like the event happening itself? But yeah, I don't know, that was certainly a funny one. Hello? Okay, there we go. But yeah, for those who actually went for the full package ticket, I guess, you basically got the full set of the light stick, as well as the t-shirt I'm wearing now, along with like 3 of the these are like light stick looking keychains of each of the 3 main characters, as well as a sticker as well, which you can't really see, but the sticker basically is just the logo of the event, so it's nothing too wild. But yeah, for the tickets for the event itself, they kind of had it like in this format as well. Well, these are made to look like tickets, then these aren't exactly the tickets for the event itself. You had the basic bitch one from Family Mart for that, but they basically gave one of these for each time you went to the cafe, and coincidentally I managed to get one of each of them. So that was kind of lucky, since it's all like completely random, and if you went multiple times, they basically gave you this little thing. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's like I guess you could stick this into a birthday cake for your friend who really likes the series or something, and have it like sit up there. This is all it feels like. And with all of the drinks, they did have the little like coaster cover, the little like straw cap things. I guess not so much a cap, but the thing that you can hook onto the drink itself as well, along with more of these little things that were meant to go on the food, but basically they actually just gave it separately in the end. I'm guessing because people kept trying to take it home or something, so they probably realized it'd be easier to just like give it in this form instead. And aside from that, they had these standard coasters for each item on the menu you buy that I feel like most events just do anyways, like all of these. I tried to get a full set, but unfortunately with my bad luck, I didn't manage to get a full set of all of it. I really tried, but I was missing just one, like literally just one out of all of it, so I'll pick that up later. But yeah, as a result, I do have a lot of like spares here. For those who are interested, I'll probably give away the spares on like Discord or something, so I'll probably do like a interest check there, and if there's anyone who wants it, yeah, overall, like, yeah, this was just something that, as someone who really enjoyed the series, it just made me feel very satisfied, and it's also something I really enjoyed because of the way that they went about doing it. Truth be told, many of the Nanoha stuff, like, they do so many pop-up stores nowadays that some of it feels very cash grabby, and it's like, this is fatigue that makes me not want to go for some of it. But for these ones specifically, they actually ended up being fairly interesting, and since it tied into the manga and the anime that's upcoming, I feel like it ended up working out in a way that, as someone who enjoys the series, it was something that I could enjoy still. And lastly, I also went down to the Blue Archive Smilebase Cafe, as well as the stamp rally at Tokyo Teleport Place over in Odaiba. So the stamp rally itself was actually a fairly small one. I think this might be the first time since the Akihabara one where they actually did a stamp rally in Tokyo instead. Like, it feels like the last few times it has been like Kyoto, Kobe, Hakata, then like Kyoto again. And then finally they did one in Tokyo, but even when they finally did do it in Tokyo, it was like the smallest scale one I've seen so far. Like, it was literally in just one mall, and they were just like 4 standees put at like random points in the mall, and you just went there and like you got the stamps. Like, it wasn't really linked to anything, unlike with the other events. Like with the Kyoto one, it was cool because they tried to link the characters to the points, the same for Kobe, but with the Tokyo one, because it's just in the mall, you just kind of had them like lounging around randomly, which I guess in a way kind of works out of the Adios squad, since like it feels like they usually just like bumming around nowadays with where the plot has gone. So I guess that kind of ends up being maybe accurate. But yeah, it was a event specifically centered around just the Ario squad themselves, and there was both the store as well as the stamp rally indoors, and then outside they also had the drinks that were being sold. The drinks themselves were just okay-ish, I guess. Like, it's the same with the Nanoha Cafe, where it's like the collab stuff, it's like, at least it wasn't bad. Like, we have kind of not maybe fully gone out of the bad collab food era, but we are pretty much in an era where most of it at least would be average. So those weren't too bad. It's just that aesthetically, because of the fact it just came in a plastic cup and there wasn't too much to in terms of the decor, it just felt a lot of mid though. But yeah, for those who are wondering, this is the art for the collab itself. This is the stamps that were from the stamp rally. Yeah, like this one's a lot, the Saori one's a little smooched because for some reason that one specifically just didn't seem to like stamp as well. But yeah, I managed to complete the thing, and for completing it, you actually got like just this little transparent clear card. I don't even know how visible it is. Yeah, this is the clear card you get. And aside from that, you also got like little stickers for purchasing stuff at the pop-up store itself. The stickers themselves are fairly like, it's just the art as well, so nothing too wholly unique that they were doing with the pop-up store. But overall, I don't know, like for me, it's like I just really like the way that Hiyori was drawn in it, and don't really get to see much stuff for our Timu Hatsune Miku, so it was kind of nice to see stuff for her at this event, if anything. Meanwhile, for the Smilebase Cafe, it was basically the Naru, as well as the CNC, as well as the Gamer Club, all combined into one. With that one, I actually found it to be kind of cool because they actually did put a lot of effort into the aesthetics for some of the food, like with the Toki dessert, like when you lifted up the thing and then it just like came out and like fluffed out the little like smoke everywhere. Like, I thought that was really cool and well done. And the pancakes for Mido Momo as well, like that also was actually pretty, like, taste wise it was like slightly above average. Like, it was mostly fine, it was like 80 and it was like actually good enough. But like the way that they actually like designed each of the individual things, like even with the conduct for Kadin, it's like the way they designed it, and they did give it a little board to put on the table there as well. Like the conduct itself was really mid. Like, the conduct was probably the worst thing that they had there. But yeah, they did a lot with the aesthetics of the event, like letting you put the little like acrylic board of the half torso board on the table, so you could like do the thing where you just felt like less lonely while you ate your funny anime food. Like, that felt really funny as well. Like, all of these things combined, along with the presentation of food, actually made it feel really cool. Like, this specific collab cafe that they did, like compared to the one they did the last time around for Ario Squad, it felt a lot better done. I don't know why, it feels like Ario Squad seems to constantly get done dirty with all of the events. Like, their pop-up is the, I guess their stamp rally is the most mid of all the stamp rallies I've been to so far. The Smilebase Cafe that they did for them was actually like significantly less impressive than the one for the CNC and the Game Dev Club as well. I don't know if someone in the company hates them or something, but it's very sad. But yeah, for eating there, you actually were given like these based off how much you spent as well. Yeah, they actually modeled it after the envelopes, and within it you basically had a little like hard plastic card for the characters with the using the art from the event itself. So like, yeah, As you can see, there's like one of each here. I don't think I even have the full set, so unfortunately I don't have any of these to give away. But if there's anyone who wants the Ario Squad stickers, do let me know. That's it. I kind of do like the little envelopes they put the collectible cards in. It was pretty cool. And aside from that, you also had the coasters as well. The standard ones, I guess, that they usually do, where like you get one for each item you purchase at the store. Somehow I managed to get 2 dupes. I ordered 5 items and got 2 dupes. So I guess I put this up as well for anyone who wants it. I don't know, just the fact that I could get 2 dupes out of like the 8 different characters, and that's just like, okay, sure, why not? I would really love to have the Naru one, but unfortunately that was not to be, it seems. But yeah, aside from the stuff that you got for free, they also had the goods for the event itself as well. I did purchase some of it. Like I do have the collectible like acrylic cards here as well. Like I just bought some of it because there were quite a few characters within this specific like groups that I actually do enjoy. So I just bought a bunch of stuff. My finances are in ruin now, and I'll be seeing you all in court when I declare bankruptcy, I guess, at some point. But that said, I feel like this video has gone on for maybe longish enough. Like I feel like I've spent a lot more time talking about all of this stuff than I initially thought I would. So we'll end off with just one more, which is the Oyari Ashito art exhibition that I went to at the very end. This was also in the short that should have gone up at the very end, like fairly recently. Yeah, the guy has art. I feel like it's such a unique style, even within the anime space or the otaku, like visual novel-ish space in particular. So it's one that even from the earlier days of the visual novels he was working on, like with some of the companies on, like it was like an art style that really spoke out to my kokoro in a way, I guess. But aside from that as well, like Eiyu Senki was a game that he was the lead character designer on and did almost all the character designs for, and it's a game I really enjoy. The art style in particular, as well as the gameplay, both actually were things that really left a very big impact on me. And yeah, his latest title, Machine Child, I did play that as well. So it was really cool to see him get an art exhibition. I actually went there right after Comitia. And the miraculous thing is, just as I happened to have gone for it, there was apparently a signing event for him at the venue itself of the gallery, and I actually managed to get him to sign it himself physically on the spot. Like, it was really cool. Like, it's the date as well. I'm just like fanboying a little here, but yeah, managed to get the art book itself. Truth be told, the goods aside from the art book there were really expensive, so the fact that for 4,000 yen you could get him to sign this is already like quite a blessing. Like I think the goods, like the acrylic panel like blocks were like 10,000 yen each, so those were really expensive. And you could actually buy the paintings that were up on the wall as well, and those were like, yeah, no, those are like gonna cost me at least a month's rent at minimum. So yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to afford any of that, which is a shame because I really would have loved to have bought some of it. But yeah, you know, considering like the situation behind me, I don't think there's really much space for me to put stuff up back there anyway. So unfortunately, there was no reason to do it in the end. They also had the tarot cards for Machine Child being sold there. So for those of you, I guess most people probably have not played the game since it's not out in English. But yeah, it basically is a full set of the tarots that appear in the game. The tarots don't play as big of a part as like something as Persona, but the art design for it is pretty cool, and I did like the fairly artsy style of it as well, since it's not really like the standard anime style. It's somewhere of a mix between like the anime style as well as more like classical like art styles as well, for the way the character features are drawn. Like I think that's one thing he does that is really interesting as well, is that he is really good at actually blending the two together in a way that can sometimes lead to works of art that actually look very interesting. In a way, like it makes sense why they would do an entire gallery separately like that in a bookstore of all places. Like it was actually not in a anime specific like gallery or something like that, but in a standard bookstore in the middle of Ginza, which I thought was really cool. There was actual nudity there, which was kind of funny that they actually just left it as an open like gallery. But you know, like considering the fact that like with like classical art, you do have like nudity that's just like just whatever the fuck. Just show funny man's PP on a marble statue from like ancient Rome, why not, and stuff like that. Like, you know, considering that, like I think it's fair enough. Like the art he does is quite interesting, and I was like really glad that I managed to catch it before it ended and managed to get the sign as well. Aside from that, they were also advertising the new game he was working with together with Front Wing on, which I think I mentioned in the short as well, but it's a mixture of a Bishoujo as well as Bishonen game into one, so it might actually be the first time that he has actually had to draw like good looking male characters in terms of like the very intentionally Bishonen-y way, not just like conventionally looks decent anime guy. So yeah, that was interesting to see as well. I don't know how that game is gonna turn out, but like considering it's a work between him and Front Wing, hopefully the story should be kind of interesting. But that's it. That's all for me for today. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you had a interesting look into the stuff I went to during autumn this time around. Although I guess Game Scramble happened on the brink between autumn and spring, but not autumn and summer. But whatever, small details. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this look at a bunch of stuff that I went to in autumn. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the people who always help to support the channel. Very cool of you guys, as well as everyone else who watches the videos, for giving me the support to keep making more stuff as usual. I'll be seeing y'all once again Discord if you want to find out about the details of the stuff. And until next time, take care and bye-bye.